This is our first ever episode of Bump in the Mic, where we will be discussing all things paranormal, supernatural.
And just downright weird. As always, we're trying to build a community here that encompasses not only our own experiences and stories, but we'll be talking about famous encounters and stories from around the world, as well as your own. We want to hear from you and chat about, what you've seen, experienced, and all of that. There's an email address in the description below you can send your stories to, or DM us here on TikTok, and we'd love to chat with you.
Awesome. And I I believe you actually had just to kick it off, a story for us, right?
Yeah, just a small one, I think. There was one time way back when I was working like overnight security type stuff at the local fairgrounds. And this is like a kind of a rural country, small town. So the fairgrounds are laid out just like you'd expect with sheet metal buildings and barns pretty much scattered everywhere with no real order to them. Anyway, me and a buddy were walking around after the big county fair had ended, and we found a couple barns that were open with the lights on and everything. So we're walking through there trying to figure out, if there's someone around that needs the lights on still, or somebody that can shut them off for us, or whatever. We didn't find anybody, so we're standing in the middle of the parking lot just trying to figure out, okay, do we shut them off? Like, what's going on? Does somebody still need in there? And then off to our right, there's like the big main building where all the gathering takes place for like, your auctions or different shows or, expos, things of that nature. Just a big open space.
Mhm.
And as we're talking, we see this lady come out the main doors and get in her car that was parked in the lot. It was the only car in the lot. So she gets out, walks right to her car and gets in. When I look at my buddy, I'm like, let's just ask her. Maybe she works here. Maybe she knows if we can shut these off. So we walk towards the car, which is probably 20 feet away. And we get to it and look inside, and there's nobody in it.
Okay,
Um,
did you like notice the car before? Was it there the whole time, or did
yeah,
you?
like it was the only car in the lot besides ours.
Uh,
But it's not uncommon for cars to be in the parking lot after hours there. It's just a big open parking lot. But it was the only one there. But she got in this thing. I looked at my buddy for half a second, looked back at the car, walked to it to chat with her, and there's nobody in the car. And
so
it's
like
parked.
when you guys were talking, like you didn't like turn away for like any amount of time, right? Like was it like a couple minutes you guys were talking, or was it like you saw it the whole time and she was just gone?
No, like the door opened to my right. I looked over. I see this lady getting out and walked to her car. Looked at my buddy. I said, let's go chat with her real quick. Turned back to the car and we walked at it.
Okay, so that's
No,
like a second.
nobody in
Like
the thing. Yeah.
there's
There's
no
nobody
time
in.
to
There's
like
nobody
rush.
in the car, man. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Oh my
Like
god.
we can see the entire inside, the back seats, the front seats. There's like a purse. There's like receipts and just general car trash in it. And I remember it was like a maroon four-door sedan. So we're like, I look at him and we're like, this is pretty weird, man. I don't know what to do
Something's
here. Yeah. So we decided, well, let's go inside the building. Maybe there's somebody else there, and see what's going on. So we go inside the door she came out of. It's unlocked. We walk in, and that door connects into a series of like two different hallways that eventually opens up into the main like display area. So we go in, and the door closes behind us because it's on hydraulics, and it's one of those push bar typical exit doors. Then we go to the next hallway door, which is like a turn knob glass face door with like a deadbolt latch on it.
Okay.
So we open it. It's unlocked. We go through. It slams behind us. Slams shut.
Wait. So was it like on one of those bars that like closes the door automatically, or?
No, it's the type that if you were to pull it to open it and you let it go, it would just keep opening and slamming against the wall on the other side. So we open it, walk through, and it slams shut behind us. We're like, this is getting creepy.
So
Okay.
something's going
So
on.
we try to open the door, and it is now locked. Also, the deadbolt on the other side has been latched shut. So, and it's a glass, like the glass pane in the door, so you can see through it. And there's nothing, there's nothing there, dude. Like
So you
it's
didn't like see anybody taking off after
no,
they
there's
slammed it.
absolutely nothing there. We would have heard. I mean, there's that one other door that's the exit. And we would have heard somebody hit that push bar on that door, right? And there's nothing. It's not to be cliche, but it was dead silent in there except for our rapidly increasing breathing rates.
Yeah, yeah, something's off at that
Yeah.
point. Like,
And then at this point, we're like, I don't even care if anybody's in here at all. We need to GTFO. You know, so we go through the next door at an okay speed, like throw it open. We ran through the door. Okay. It slams behind us too. I didn't check to see if it locked behind us. We
like
booked ass to the other exit doors on the other side of now the big open room and hit that crash bar and just kept going.
how soon after you got through it did it slam? I have
Oh,
to.
it was like half a second. Like as
Oh
soon as
my
we cleared
god.
the door. Yeah.
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 So at that point, you're hauling like
Yeah.
you're.
We're sprinting through this building, okay? Like I'm not sticking around for any more nonsense. And we go
Oh,
out the door, the other side exterior door, and then we're outside. Everything's good. Walk around the outside of the building towards where our car was and where that lady's car was, and that car is gone. It's gone. It doesn't. It's not there anymore. Um, yeah, like there was nowhere for this lady to have gone from the time that we saw her get into her car until the 20 feet it took us to get up to the door. Um, and then doors are slamming and locking behind us. Like I'm not interested in that.
and you
Like we
never
left.
heard anything accelerate. Like you never heard somebody like gun it out of the park.
No, absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
this was probably
Nah.
2 a.m. There's not a lot going on. Um, and the only time I heard acceleration is when we got back in our car and fucking hauled ass out of that parking lot.
Like a
Like,
pedal to the metal kind of thing.
yeah, like the barns were open, the lights were still on. We didn't care. We left. All right, like
Oh god.
I'm not
Uh,
not messing around with it.
yeah, when you think everything's fine and then all of a sudden, like paranormal stuff, I feel like happens to you when you least expect it. Like you can go looking for it all you want, but like you'll just if you ever experience it, you're like, it's happening right now, and
Yeah,
I didn't know that was going to happen till right now.
yeah. I didn't like go to the bathroom. Right, some of my pants are a little stinky. Probably like should have worn the brown pants. Right, but
Just throwing them off your scent. That's all.
yeah, you call it what you want, but I'm here to talk about it. So whatever it was must have worked.
Well, thank you for your story. I know this is our first ever official episode. We had an introductory, but I feel like just since we're introducing ourselves, we should give a little backstory to the to anyone that may follow us here in the future.
Yeah, so I guess just a little bit about me. I spent a number of years in the Marine Corps as an 0811, a gun bunny, a field artillery cannoneer. I ended my career as a section chief on a howitzer, which just meant that I ran my own gun and my own crew and everything. And that was a lot of fun. You know, one shot, 12 kills, hoorah. Um, and Clyde was a former Marine as well.
That's correct. Yeah, I was I guess you call it a crayon eater. I was an 0311, but I did luck into being instead of having to hump everywhere, I got stationed with a combined anti-armor team. So I got to either run dismount in a Humvee or drive the Humvee. So can't complain too much, even though it didn't necessarily give me a career when I got out. But that's all right.
I
I'm
feel you there.
I'm here now. So, uh, I can shoot someone at 500 yards. Doesn't necessarily translate well on a resume, but um, yeah. If we, I think we want to go into, given our backstories here, I think we want to go into one of our favorite military ghost stories.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about OP Rock. Um, so named because it's literally a 100-foot tall mound of rock in the middle of the desert in the Helmand province of Afghanistan.
Yeah, and I believe I think the crazy part about it, like when I first read about it, is how long that post has been held by military forces. I think they said the first time an outpost was stationed there was under Alexander the Great.
Damn, it's got some history for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely seen posts after that, all the way from the British Empire to the Russians, and then of course when we were there, and that's kind of where this story comes in.
Yeah, it's basically it was an OP observation post that was occupied by British forces and us in, during the most recent conflicts. It stood out as part of that landscape because it was so tall in what was otherwise just a barren piece of desert. So it was actually a fairly effective observation post in theory, but some of the stuff that happened there made it not so, I believe.
Yeah, it's from my understanding, it is a highly tactically awesome observation post, but it's just the history there makes it not, because it's like it's like some crazy stuff going on. So like where our story starts is when a group of Marines went to take it over. The first sign that like something was wrong was the British forces they were relieving did not hang around. Like as soon as they came in, those British forces walked right by them and said, "Hey, everything's good here. You guys, you got it from here. We're out." They didn't stick around to talk, fill them in, anything. They just immediately left.
And the Marines, being Marines, right, as soon as they get there, they want to start improving their fighting position, right? So
Mhm.
they start digging trenches and gathering dirt to fill HESCO barriers. And the first sign that something wasn't right was, I believe, that when they were digging these trenches and filling their HESCOs, that they started uncovering like human bones in the dirt there.
I believe that's correct. Yeah, they were like discovering human bones, like certain artifacts from, um, like obviously wars in the past. So it got a little weird for sure.
Yeah, there was actually a New York Times article on this, and they were saying that as they were digging, they weren't finding just like one or two bones. They were finding tons of bones, like bones for days, I believe is the direct quote from the article.
Yeah.
The Marine that had talked about it said they built their entire observation post out of bones, basically, because there were so many of them there.
Oh my. Yeah, it was. I know it was crazy. Yeah, they were digging up all kinds of stuff. And then I know the first time they really noticed that like something was kind of off was they said the radio chatter. So they would be on post and they would be listening to American radio chatter, current radio chatter, and all of a sudden static would appear and it would switch. And all of a sudden they were hearing Russian radio chatter, and there's no Russians in Afghanistan at this time. They're hearing Russian radio chatter in the middle of combat. So they're hearing Russian officers, Russian soldiers, radio chatter, and gunfire
Not their own combat, right? Like combat over the radio.
over the radio. So
Yeah.
they're hearing Russians screaming in the middle of combat. Over the radio, they're hearing AK fire, RPG fire, and Russians screaming as they're in the middle of combat, which was not taking place at this time.
And the Russians had occupied it like how early before that? It had been
Oh,
decades, right? Like
long
almost
time ago. It's the
50
'80s.
years. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the '80s.
Yeah, because the locals in that area had mentioned that they had been using that area as a gravesite for hundreds of years,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it was so prominent. That many of them, I think, believed that there was some religious significance there, so they had actually buried bodies there.
Right.
But it had also been the site of several massacres committed by both sides during the Afghan-Soviet war, like you said, in the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So to
that
hear that chatter, 40 years later on the radio, I mean,
yeah.
no, thank you.
No. And it kept getting weirder from there. They started, after that, it progressed. They started seeing the outposts report that they saw enemy forces moving up, shadow figures moving towards the post. And they would hear chatter, like Afghan chatter, and they would move up and duck behind bushes. And when they would put the lights on, whatever they did, push out, there's no one there. So
So it was just like living shadows, basically, that they were observing.
living shadows. And then it also, I know they had issues in the base where they would be standing on post and they would hear footsteps coming up the wooden walkway up into the post. And when they would hear the footsteps right next to them, they saw no one. And someone would start speaking to them in Russian right next to them. Because Russian or like Slavic languages are pretty easy to identify. And they would say, like, there's no one next to me, and I'm hearing it as if he's standing next to me. He's speaking Russian. So that definitely freaked a few people out.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably just go UA at that point and not deal with it anymore if I was there.
Yeah, and I think the high point it got to in it was where they said they would occasionally be woken up to screaming and yelling in Russian with AK fire and RPG fire. And when they would get up, grab their weapons, and mount the walls, it would suddenly stop, and there's no one anywhere around there.
Insane. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to be stationed there and you're forced there. Like you can't leave. Well, you can, but you'll
Yeah,
either die in the desert or you'll get charged, through the UCMJ criminally. And it's like you're damned literally if you do and if you don't.
yeah. Do you really want to leave? Like, if all that stuff's going on, like, do you really want to be in the desert alone with
Yeah,
all
I'm not
that?
going to be walking through that cold ass
No.
desert at night wondering when the shadow demons are going to grab me.
Right. Yeah, it's not for me. I'll hang with these guys and like hopefully they like restation us somewhere or something. I don't know. I would be panicking at that point. Probably get like a few minutes of sleep a night.
If that, right? I mean, you're going 6 month deployment. Just give me more rip it, I guess. Like load it up, putting rip it in my camelback, man. Like,
Yeah, enough rip it. Like when you get home, you could sleep off being awake for 6 months, I feel
well,
like.
let me tell you, enough rip it, and you'll start seeing some shit. Like, like as
Uh
I've had full blown conversations with people that didn't exist, like 2 3 nights without sleep, just running on rip it.
uh yeah, I remember uh having Rip-Its, Red Bulls, like a whole mix of energy drinks, and I would be awake for enough days that I would be driving a Humvee, and the lanes would start like swelling, and like they would like wave in and out, and I'd be like, somebody might have to drive right now.
Yeah, you're just leading a convoy through Wonderland, right? Everything's great.
Oh God, but I guess that concludes it for the first episode. I know for a fact we are super excited for anyone that'll join us on this journey. So please, once again, hit that link in the bio. Send us your stories so we can tell them here, or join us on the live. We also accept DMs. Hit us up there, and we would love to tell your stories too.
Yeah, we're just getting started, so hit us up. We'd love to start building this together. Don't forget to haunt that follow button. And then from the shadows to your speakers, this has been Bumping the Mic. Thanks for joining us.